Have you noticed that quiet shift or change in energy when something good happens to you? When you share your progress, that new opportunity, that breakthrough, that moment you've been praying for, their response feels off. They clap, but it's quiet. They smile, but it doesn't reach their spirit. There is a delay, a hesitation, an energy that doesn't match your joy. And in that moment, something inside you pauses. Not your mind, but your spirit. Because your spirit recognizes what your emotions try to excuse. You tell yourself, maybe I'm overthinking, maybe they are just tired, maybe it's nothing. But that feeling stays, it lingers. Because truth doesn't leave just because you ignore it. That's not your imagination. That's discernment. Amen. Proverbs chapter 27 verse 6 says, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. God is saying what you felt in that moment was real. Because not everyone celebrating you is for you. Some are clapping but calculating, measuring your growth against their own stagnation. Some are smiling but shrinking inside, because your elevation exposes what they have not confronted in themselves. Amen. And they don't know how to celebrate what silently threatens them. So they manage their response, they regulate their excitement, they give you just enough reaction to remain in your life, but never enough to truly stand with you. And you feel it in the space between their words, in the silence after your good news, in the way the conversation shifts away from your moment back to something comfortable for them. God says, pay attention to what people cannot fake for long. Because words can be controlled, but reactions reveal the heart. A delayed celebration, a quiet response, a sudden distance, these are not small things. They are signals, because the truth is some people were assigned only to your struggle. Amen. Not your success. They knew how to support you when you were broken. They knew how to be present when you were confused. They knew how to relate when you were uncertain. But now that you are rising, now that things are aligning, now that God is lifting you, they don't recognize their place anymore, because your growth has shifted the dynamic. Amen. You are no longer the version of yourself they were comfortable with. And instead of growing with you, they withdraw. Not always physically, but emotionally, spiritually, silently. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 4 says, I saw that all toil and all achievement spring from one person's envy of another. God is not saying they all hate you, but he is revealing this. Not everyone around you has a clean heart towards your success. And that matters, because the people you keep close influence your direction, shape your decisions, affect your momentum. That's why some of you, after sharing certain things, everything feels different. The energy shifts, the clarity fades, the excitement weakens, because you exposed something sacred to someone who could not carry it properly. Amen. God says you are sharing, you're becoming with people who are not assigned to your next level, and they don't have the capacity to celebrate it or protect it. So instead, they dilute it. Amen. Not always intentionally, but effectively, through doubt, through silence, through subtle redirection. And now God is awakening your awareness. not to isolate you, but to refine your cycle. Because where you are going requires people who don't just hear your good news, but feel it with you, who don't just respond, but rejoice without hesitation, who don't just stay, but stand with you when God begins to elevate you. So the next time you feel that shift, that quiet clap, that delayed response, that unnatural pause, don't ignore it. Sit with it, because that moment is God pulling back the curtain, showing you who can go with you and who was only meant for a previous version of your life. Amen. And hear this clearly: the right people will never struggle to celebrate you. They will not compete with your blessing. They will not measure themselves against your progress. They will not distance themselves from your elevation. They will rejoice because your win does not threaten them. God says this person is not happy for you. Pay attention. It confirms God is moving among those connected to them. So protect your voice, protect your moments, protect your progress, because not every presence is meant to witness what God is about to do in your life. Amen.